My sister's grades were weird. If I got 600, she got 610. If I reached 610, she became 620. Always exactly 10 points higher than me. But whenever I missed an exam, her score dropped badly. That confirmed my guess. Her grades were connected to mine. From that day, a wild plan slowly formed in my head. What if I scored over 740 in the final exam? What would happen then? Before the exam, I lived like a monk. She lived like she was on vacation. Since I was her safety net, she became way too arrogant. She stopped studying and just went out with friends. Whenever she got caught, she looked irritated. Can you stop nagging? Relax. The provincial top scorer will be me. And I did not disappoint her. Every mock exam, I pushed her straight to first place. I wanted her drunk on that fake glory, while I quietly moved closer to 741. That final semester felt like a dull knife, cutting my nerves piece by piece. I woke up at 5. Slept at midnight. Except for eating and bathroom breaks, I solved problems nonstop. I locked myself inside that small room with no sunlight, like a machine that was not allowed to stop. Her room was right next to mine. Sometimes I heard her laughing on video calls, or screaming while watching dramas. Sometimes, she even raised the volume on purpose, as if telling me she could slack off and still win. I did not care. I had learned to block everything out. Only one sound kept ringing in my mind. 741 points. That number was like a nail in my heart. Every time I wanted to quit, I pushed it deeper. The pain kept me awake. By March, Su Wanqing kept entering my room. At first, I thought she was just looking for things. Then I felt something was off. The way she looked at me changed. Suspicious, like she was testing me. Once, I was solving the last math problem. She pushed the door open and stood behind me. She stared at my draft paper for a long time. Brother, why are you studying so hard lately? I did not even look up. I kept writing, just doing okay. The exam is near. How can I not work hard? Su Wanqing moved closer. She wanted to see my work clearly. But before, you were never this desperate. My heart skipped. But my face stayed calm. I sighed on purpose. I put down my pen and acted exhausted. Mom and Dad keep pushing me. They said if I fail to enter a 985 school, they'll cut my allowance. What else can I do? Su Wanqing finally relaxed. A 985 university. Don't tire yourself too much. The top scorer will still be me. I watched her leave without a word. After the door closed, I picked up my pen again. A small smile touched my lips. Good. Keep looking down on me. The more you underestimate me, the safer I am. But Su Wanqing did not fully let her guard down. In the following days, she kept asking about my review progress. Which subject was hardest? How much could I score? Was I thinking too highly of myself? I handled every move. In every mock exam, I controlled my score. I never looked too outstanding. I stayed around the top 5. High enough, but not suspicious. The real killing moves stayed hidden. The hardest question types. The trickiest techniques. I practiced alone late at night. Then I tore the drafts and flushed them away. Not a single trace left. One night, I was doing contest-level problems. Then I heard noise in the living room. It was Mom and Su Wanqing talking. I cracked my door open and listened. Wanqing, isn't your brother studying too hard lately? He locks himself in his room every day. Mom. Why worry? No matter his score, I'll be 10 points higher. The harder he studies, the higher I score, right? Yes, my daughter is so smart. Then let him study to death. Perfect, he's working for you anyway. I heard every word. And clenched my fists. My nails dug into my palms. But I stayed calm outside. I closed the door and kept solving problems. One night in April, I was studying in my room as usual. Then I heard a faint sound outside. I held my breath and listened. Footsteps. Very light. Then the doorknob slowly turned. Extremely slowly. I knew it. She was spying on me. I did not turn around. I kept pretending to focus. I had already changed the paper in my hand to a basic worksheet. The real difficult materials were locked deep in my drawer. Ugh. Why did I get this wrong again? This is too hard. Then I closed the notebook. I lay on the desk pretending to rest. The door cracked closed. The footsteps faded. I sat up and laughed coldly. Su Wanqing. The more you guard against me, the guiltier you are. You know better than anyone. Those scores were never yours. You're just a parasite. Without me, you're nothing. In the May mock exam, I got 695. Su Wanqing got 705. First in the whole grade, when the results came out. She celebrated like crazy at home. Our parents fussed over her. Wanqing, you did great this time. Keep it up, and the real exam is safe. My daughter is really smart. Of course, look at whose genes she has. Brother, you should work harder too. Don't fall too far behind me. Or mom and dad will lose face. I answered softly and did not argue. I just kept eating. But inside I laughed coldly. Enjoy it while you can. This is your last shining moment. That night, I tossed in bed, unable to sleep. I kept rehearsing the 2 exam days. Every possible situation. In June, the final exam arrived. My daughter, you work hard. Relax a little. Through the crack of my bedroom door, I watched. My heart did not move at all. I only found it ironic. That night, I slept at 8. I set my alarm for 6. Lying there, I felt strangely calm. Tomorrow, all my patients would be paid back. The next morning, I woke up on time. I ate a simple breakfast and left. The exam room was in the old building. My seat was by the window on the 3rd floor. Sunlight could shine right in. I sat down and arranged my pens one by one. I took a deep breath. Then closed my eyes. In my heart, I told myself, Su Ming, you waited 18 years for this. Do not lose. When the Chinese exam bell rang. The moment I opened the test paper, my mind became clearer than ever. Every question felt familiar. Every trap in the reading section. I had already expected it. The essay topic was one I had practiced countless times. My pen moved non-stop. After Chinese, I walked out. Su Wanqing rushed over and blocked me. But panic flashed in her eyes. How was it? Not bad, I guess. What do you mean, not bad? How many items did you miss? I almost laughed. She was checking my score. No idea, I didn't check. Su Wanqing curled her lips. She clearly was not satisfied. But she stopped asking. She turned and left. I watched her back. And thought, why so nervous? The scores would come out tomorrow anyway. Then you'll get your surprise. Halfway through math that afternoon, something went wrong. My stomach suddenly cramped hard. Maybe breakfast was not clean. Maybe it was the pressure. I bent over for seconds before I could breathe. Are you okay? Need to go to the clinic? I'm fine. What kind of joke was that? I waited 18 years for this one exam. Even if I collapsed, I'd die on that paper. For a moment, the formulas blurred. But I forced myself through. I finished everything by instinct. When I left the exam room, I was almost drained. I found an empty corner and crouched down. It took a while to recover. Su Wanqing texted, asking about math. I replied with 2 words, just normal. She instantly sent a smug emoji. She thought she had won again. Looking at that emoji, I almost laughed. Clueless, so fearless, that was her. The next day was science and English. Both were my strong subjects. The big physics problems, the chemistry deductions, and biology genetics were all familiar. As for English, no need to say. That essay could easily get a high score. After the last subject ended, I walked out. I stood by the entrance and looked up. The sunlight was harsh, but I didn't move. I just stood straight, letting it hit my face. After 18 years, I finally made it. Su Wanqing rushed over first. She was dressed extra bright today. Like a proud peacock. How was it? Good? Better than ever. Never felt this good in my life. Mom, brother said he did really well. Then I must have done even better. Go ahead, take the credit. This is the last time you'll think you won. Mom, Dad, I can enter the provincial top 10. She took Mom's hard-earned money and wasted it with her useless friends. She updated her socials every day. Food, drinks, fun. She had no idea disaster was near. One night, I saw one of her posts. A photo of her at a fancy restaurant. The caption said, future top scorer celebrating early. People were liking and commenting. Looking at it, I found it ridiculous. Mom, Dad. I want to visit Grandpa in the province. Visit what? We don't have money. Can't you see Wanqing needs money? I looked at her righteous face and felt sick. They wouldn't spend a cent on me, but for Su Wanqing, money flowed like water. If you want to go, find a way yourself. Don't drag this family into your nonsense. I said nothing more. I turned back to my room. Early the next morning, I went to a site and carried bricks. The sun was brutal. My head kept spinning. But I gritted my teeth for half a month. Only then did I save enough fare. And some gifts for Grandpa. That half month was one of the hardest times in my life. On the day scores came out, it was Su Wanqing's 18th birthday. She held a very lavish banquet. Lao Su, your family is really blessed. Your son and daughter both have bright futures. Oh, my eldest son only knows books, no street smarts. Wanqing is still more thoughtful. Good grades, sharp mind. 100 times better than her brother. Ha ha ha. Wanqing, you're really amazing. Once you get into Qingbei, your life is basically set. What time can we check the scores? We must witness a top scorer being born. Don't rush. If she really ranks high in the province, Qingbei admissions will call early to fight for her. The moment he said that, a phone really rang. It was Dingda admissions calling me. Okay, thank you. Yes, alright. Su Wanqing's eyes widened. She stared hard at her silent phone. The best one always comes last. Finally, the score portal opened. Everyone crowded around, urging Wanqing to log in. I also opened my score page in the corner. Even though I was confident, when the moment came, my palms still went sweaty. Mom turned to ask me first. I got 741. The whole room exploded. I forced down the joy in my chest and kept a blank face. I did it. I really did it. Mom froze for a second. Then she only nodded. She did not even look at me again. Quick. Wanqing's score must be higher. Su Wanqing was trapped in the crowd. She could not escape. With trembling fingers, she tapped confirm. The next second, her face froze. Like she had swallowed a fly. On the screen were 3 red numbers, 751. Wanqing really is better than her brother. Exactly 10 points higher. What a genius child. If I remember right. Isn't the full score only 750? The whole room froze. Dead silence. Cold sweat covered Su Wanqing's face. Her perfect makeup started running. It must be a system error. Too many people are checking. The site probably crashed. She refreshed like crazy. Her finger almost pierced the screen. Once, twice, 3 times. That cursed 751 stayed there. Nailed to the total score. Someone said to try another phone. Maybe it's just the cache. Su Wanqing grabbed it like a lifeline. She snatched someone else's phone. The result was still the same. 751. That extra point was like a huge slap. Right across her face. Right then. The banquet doors were pushed open. Several police officers and education staff walked in with serious faces. The leading officer looked around and asked coldly, who is Su Wanqing? The exam authority detected an abnormal score. It may involve system interference or major fraud. Please come with us. For investigation. Su Wanqing's legs went weak. She collapsed to the floor. Her face was pale as paper. Mom and Dad panicked when they saw it. But they did not comfort their daughter. Their first instinct was to find a scapegoat. In the chaos, Mom actually shoved me forward. She pointed at me and screamed, he did it. Here we go again, my parents. At the worst moment, they used me as a shield. Even with a ridiculous reason. Even with zero logic. As long as they could protect their precious daughter. Why would sacrificing me matter? Once my heart fully died, I felt strangely light. I shook off Mom's hand. And looked at those well-dressed clowns. I'm not a hacker. I'm Su Ming, the provincial science top scorer. Su Wanqing is over there. The one who scored the miracle 751 is her dad. Rushed over in rage, trying to slap me. I grabbed his wrist in one move. My glare made him flinch. Go ahead, touch me. The police are right behind me. The person standing here now is wanted by Qingbei and chased by the media. Try laying a hand on me. From that moment on, in this family, no one could control me anymore. No one could bully me again. That show-off birthday party turned into a full circus. Su Wanqing was taken for investigation. She left a huge mess behind. There was no hiding it. A 751 score appeared. That topic exploded online that night. The whole internet watched and laughed. Some said, greed has no limit. Did she buy too many points? Others said, if you cheat, use your brain. The full score is 750. She got 751. Is she insulting the system? People even found Su Wanqing's socials. For 6 months, she only ate, drank, and partied. She barely studied at all. Public opinion turned against her. Everyone thought she used connections to change her score. But added too much by mistake. I read those comments. A strange joy spread in my chest. 18 years. I waited 18 years. Finally, everyone saw the truth. Though there was no direct proof that she changed the answer sheet. The result came out fast. Her answer sheet was abnormal. For some unknown reason. One extra point was scanned that pushed her score past the limit, so she had to retake it alone. When the news reached home, Su Wanqing was on the sofa, scrolling. The moment she heard retake, she jumped up at once. Her face went pale instantly. What do you mean, retake? Why should I retake it? My score was real. The system was the problem. Dad sat aside with a dark face and scolded her. Lower your voice. The neighbors can hear you. Mom was so anxious, she kept pacing, comforting her and thinking of a way. Wanqing, don't panic. If you must retake, then retake. It will be fine. But Su Wanqing acted like she lost it. She threw a tantrum all over the house. She cried and screamed, forcing me to retake it too. Make him come with me. Make him sit beside me. She rushed over and grabbed my arm. Her nails dug into my skin. Her red eyes looked terrifying. Brother, you have to help me. Did you hear me? I shook off her hand. My voice was ice cold. I already finished my exam. Why should I retake it with you? Su Wanqing froze. She looked at me in disbelief. Like she never thought I would refuse. Mom rushed over to defend her. Su Ming, what's with that attitude? Your sister is already like this. Can't you help her just once? This is our family's reputation. What's wrong with taking it with Wanqing once? I looked at them and almost laughed. Our family's reputation. That was Su Wanqing's reputation. It had nothing to do with me. So I turned back to my room. Then locked the door inside. No matter how they cursed outside, I did not open it. In the end, under full supervision, Su Wanqing retook the exam alone. The exam was held at the Education Bureau. Cameras were running all day. 3 invigilators watched her closely, as if afraid she would try again. As expected, the result was a disaster. Her retake score was 157, lower than her random mock scores. Her real level was around 300 anyway. For 6 months, she only dated and dreamed of being number 1. She had not opened a book. When results came out, I was carrying bricks. A classmate messaged me. Su Wanqing got 157 in the retake. For a second, I froze. Then I smiled and crouched there for a long time. A worker thought I had heat stroke and gave me water. I waved and said I was fine. I was just too happy. That retake stripped her last shame away. First 751, then 157. The huge gap made the internet explode. The comments got funnier and funnier. Someone said, ha ha ha. 157, now that's her real level. Someone else said that's the proof. That 751 was definitely cheating. Others even made memes. They put 751 and 157 side by side, with a caption, from heaven to hell, in just one retake. Su Wanqing could not take the backlash. She posted her old grades to prove herself. But netizens dug everything up. Her sudden jump in senior year was too strange. Before that, she was always hopeless. Barely reaching 300, everyone became more certain she had cheated since senior year began. And then, they also dug up my report cards. From grade school to high school, every major exam result came out. Always top 3, that was a real top student. Steady as a rock. Someone said, are they really siblings? Why is the gap this big? Someone else said one can reach 750, the other can't even hit 250. I read those comments. And my heart felt complicated. I used to think, if my grades were good enough, my parents would see me. Later, I realized, no matter how high I scored, in their eyes, I could never beat Su Wanqing. Because what they needed was not an excellent son. They needed a tool for their daughter. The teachers and classmates who praised her now avoided her on sight. Even my parents got pointed at outside. The neighbors whispered behind them. They said the Su daughter was useless. She fooled everyone for years by cheating. A total disgrace. During that time, Su Wanqing hid in her room, scared to face people. Like a rat everyone wanted to hit. The curtain stayed shut. Even her meals had to be brought to her door. She saw no one. Meanwhile, I held my Qingbei medical admission letter and packed to go back to Grandpa. Once school started in late August, I would be free. That was what I believed. Summer in Jiangxia was like a steamer. But there, my heart felt calm. Grandpa's old house stood at the mountain foot. 3 mud brick rooms, an old locust tree in front. The cicadas were loud but not annoying. This was my real home. Since I could remember, I had lived here. My parents said the countryside air was good and better for my health. But really, they just found me troublesome. They wanted all love and resources for Wanqing. One more me meant one more rival. Grandpa never spoke badly of them. He only took care of me quietly. He taught me to read and study. He said people must rely on themselves. What he said most was, for poor kids, studying is the only way out. I stayed in the old house for over 20 days. Every morning, I helped Grandpa feed the chickens. Then I read books in the yard. In the afternoon, I went with him to the fields. At night, we sat under the locust tree. He told me old stories about how naughty Dad was as a kid, and how hard-working Mom was after marrying in. I listened to those strange memories, like they were from another family. Because in my memory, my parents were never those people. One night, we sat in the yard cooling off. The moon was bright. Grandpa suddenly asked how I did in the entrance exam. I thought for a bit and said, pretty good. Pretty good is good. He looked up at the moon and went quiet. Pretty good is good. He sighed, his voice a little rough. Oh. Grandpa never achieved much in life. Now I'm counting on you. I lowered my head, my nose stinging. Since I was young, only he had ever said that to me. Only he truly wanted me to live well. Grandpa, when I enter university and get a job, I'll bring you to the city. He smiled like a child. I won't get used to city life. Your heart is enough. That night, I lay on the old earthen bed, listening to insects outside. I thought once scores came out, everything would settle. I would let everyone see that I, Su Ming, was not useless. And I was no one's stepping stone. On August 12th, half a month before school, I was helping Grandpa dry corn. I poured basket after basket of corn onto the mat. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Mom. I froze. She almost never called me first. Last time was before the exam, asking how high I could score, her voice full of suspicion. I answered. Crying came from the other end. Mom's voice was hoarse and urgent. Come back quickly. Something happened to your father. My heart sank. The corn in my hand almost fell. What illness? Which hospital? Mom only kept crying. She did not answer. She just kept saying, come back. Then she hung up. I stood there, my mind a mess. Grandpa came out. Seeing my face, he asked what happened. I told him everything. His face changed too, no matter what. He's still your father. Go back and check. I nodded. I went in and stuffed clothes into my bag. Before I left, Grandpa chased after me with a cloth pouch. It felt heavy. He said, take it. These are Grandpa's emergency savings. I opened it and saw cash. A little over 2,000 yuan. Money he had saved from selling eggs and vegetables. I wanted to return it, but he went back inside. His bent back looked so thin at the door. I gripped the pouch, my eyes burning. From the village to the county took 2 hours. County to city took 3 more. Then I still had to transfer trains. All in all, the trip took nearly 10 hours. I bought the earliest ticket. Sitting on the shaky bus, I watched the scenery rush backward. But my mind slowly cooled. Something was off. Too many things felt wrong. Mom's crying was too dramatic. So dramatic it felt fake. She did not say what illness Dad had. She did not say which hospital. She did not say how serious it was. She only kept pushing me to go back. If he was truly critical, she should have said, your dad is here. Come quickly, not, come back, come back. Back where? Home? If Dad was in the hospital, why would she be home calling me? And her tone. There was something I could not explain. It did not sound like worry for Dad. It sounded like fear I would not return. The more I thought, the stranger it got. I called Dad's phone. Busy. I called again. Still busy. So I tried another way. I called one of Dad's colleagues. Hello, Uncle. Did something happen to my dad? The man sounded surprised. Your dad treated us to dinner last week. He's perfectly fine. Why? Did something happen? Nothing. Maybe I heard wrong. I made up an excuse and ended the call. As expected, I leaned back and stared at the mountains outside. The weight in my chest finally settled. I was not heartless. I just knew this family too well. If Dad was truly critical, Su Wanqing would have posted it online, begging for sympathy. No way she would stay quiet since it was a lie. Why did they trick me back? It took me hours to figure it out. The answer was obvious. Su Wanqing's scandal was too big. That 751 joke was still trending. Even if she repeated a year, she was done. Because without me, she was nothing. Meanwhile, I was about to enter Qingbei. I was about to escape that swamp. They would never allow it. In their eyes, my only value was to be Su Wanqing's stepping stone. Her tool, her shield. After figuring that out, I stopped panicking. I felt like a hunter, waiting beside a trap. Only this time, hunter and prey would switch places. Since you all want to act, I'll play along. But I will write the ending on the train. I used Grandpa's money to buy a cheap backup phone. I also bought a power bank. I fully charged both phones. Then I downloaded a recorder that auto-uploaded to the cloud. I tested it 3 times to make sure it worked. I also messaged a few future classmates from the freshman group. I briefly explained everything. If they could not reach me for 48 hours, they should call the police. I also shared my live location. Better safe than sorry. Looking at their replies, warmth rose in my chest. Strangers were willing to help me, but my own blood relatives wanted to push me into a fire pit. This world was really ironic. By the time I got home, it was evening. The sunset painted the old building yellow. I stood downstairs with my suitcase. I looked up at the place I lived for 12 years, but never once belonged to. I took a breath, went upstairs, and knocked. The door opened. Mom stood there. Her eyes were red like she had cried. When she saw me, she froze. Then she forced a sweet smile. You're finally back. Come in, come in. Her sudden warmth gave me chills. Since I was young, when was she ever this kind to me? I entered without showing anything. My eyes swept across the living room. Dad was on the sofa watching TV. He was even holding the remote. He looked perfectly fine. Not a trace of serious illness. I stood by the door, still holding my suitcase. I asked calmly, didn't you say Dad was critical? Why is he watching TV? The living room froze for a second. Dad glanced at me. His face turned awkward. Mom's smile stiffened. Then she quickly said, it was a false alarm. Your dad felt unwell yesterday. We went to the hospital for a checkup. It was nothing serious. We just thought, since you'll leave for Bayan soon, you should come home and spend time with us. We're family, after all. Hearing a family, after all, from her felt especially ironic. I did not expose her. I just nodded, changed slippers, and went in. From the corner of my eye, I saw Su Wanqing on the sofa. She was curled in the corner, wearing pajamas. Her hair was messy. Her face looked dull. Dark circles sat under her eyes. She looked nothing like that proud princess from months ago. When she saw me, she lifted her head. Her eyes were complicated. Resentment, fear, and something I could not read. I pretended not to see it. I went straight to my room. My room was at the far end. Barely 10 square meters. It never got sunlight. When I was little, it was storage. Only after I came back from Grandpa's did they clear it for me to sleep in. Wanqing had the big, bright master bedroom. In this family, resources were always divided painfully clear. I closed the door. Then I checked the room. Desk, shelf, closet, under the bed, everything. I made sure nothing was touched. Then I took out the backup phone. I found a hidden angle and placed it among the shelf clutter. The camera faced the door. I turned on recording, then muted it. No sound, no notification. After all that, I lay on the bed and pretended to sleep, but my ears stayed sharp, catching every sound outside. For dinner, Mom cooked a full table. For once, she even called me to eat. She even served me food. Xiaoming, you lost weight. You're leaving home soon. Eat more. I could barely taste anything. My mind was busy figuring out their plan. And when they would show their fangs. After dinner, Dad coughed once and cleared his throat, like he was starting a lecture. Xiaoming, we called you back because we need to discuss something. Here it comes. I looked up with just enough confusion. It's like this. Your sister hasn't been okay lately. You know that too. The entrance exam incident hit her hard. She's badly depressed now. She won't even leave her room. Your mom and I talked. You're her twin brother. You're the closest person to her. Can you spend more time with her and comfort her? That's all. I waited for the real point. Sure enough, Mom continued. There was probing in her tone. That's right, Xiaoming. You two are twins. Your family blood is thicker than water. Even broken bones are still connected. What's wrong with helping your sister? I still did not answer. I only looked at them. The air froze for a moment. Su Wanqing suddenly raised her head. With red eyes, she looked at me, voice shaking. Brother. I know I was wrong, okay. I've thought it through lately. Everything before was my fault. I shouldn't have treated you that way. Can you give me one more chance? I almost laughed out loud. Her acting had improved. Too bad I wasn't buying it. I asked what they really wanted. What exactly do you want me to do? I tore through their act directly. I had no patience for this dance. Mom and Dad looked at each other, as if confirming something. Dad finally showed his cards. Xiaoming. It's like this. We thought of a way to give Wanqing a future too. Wanqing told us what happened with her entrance exam score. That 10-point pattern. You should know it better than us. There is a special link between you two. As long as you're there. She can score high. My heart jumped. She actually told them that secret. So your mom and I talked. Can you delay Qingbei for 1 year? And repeat senior year. Next year, take the exam with Wanqing. Then she can enter a good university too. If our family has 2 Qingbei students. Won't that honor our ancestors? I froze. Not because the request was insane. But because they said it with such confidence. Like it was only natural. Like sacrificing my future for Wanqing was my duty. Mom quickly held my hand. Calculation flashed in her eyes. Xiaoming, this won't hurt you. You're so smart. Next year, you'll pass again. With your top scorer title. And 1 more year to prepare. Qingbei will still fight for you. And Wanqing gets a good future too. All 4 of us will win. Isn't that a happy ending? A happy ending for all of us. What a pretty way to say it. I already got my admission letter. Why should I repeat? What's so important about that? If you don't report, it becomes useless anyway. Xiaoming, you're the older brother. What's wrong with giving way to your sister? When Wanqing succeeds, she won't forget you. You'll get a share of her money too. I had just heard the world's funniest joke. I said, I don't agree. The moment I said that, the air turned ice cold. Dad's face darkened. Mom's expression froze too. Su Wanqing raised her head. Her pleading instantly turned to resentment. Dad stood up and looked down at me. His tone was threatening. Su Ming, what's that attitude? We're discussing this properly. How can you just refuse? Because this matter has nothing to discuss. I stood up and looked at them. You want me to give up Qingbei? Repeat with someone who scored only 168. Then use my score to send her to a top school. On what grounds? Because she's your sister. You're her older brother. Helping your sister is normal. I helped her for 18 years. Since we were kids. You gave her every resource. And dumped me in the countryside. Now that she ruined herself. You finally remember I exist. You want my future to clean her mess. Dad slammed the table. The bowls jumped. Su Ming, what attitude is that? What attitude? This attitude. I won't do it. I turned toward my room. Behind me, Su Wanqing screamed. Ah! Su Ming, who do you think you are? Those points should have been mine. Without me, what are you? I stopped and looked at her twisted face. Su Wanqing, listen carefully. Every point was earned by my own pen. They have nothing to do with you. You leached off my score. Because you were lucky. Not capable. And it's not your bargaining chip against me. Su Wanqing choked on my words. Tears rushed from her eyes. From anger or panic, I could not tell. Mom rushed over, shielding her, and cursed me. Su Ming, look what you did to your sister. Do you still have a conscience? I asked her, do any of you? I was too tired to argue. I went to my room and locked the door. Outside, things were being slammed. Dad's angry curses rang out. Mom cried and complained. Su Wanqing's screams mixed in too. Like porridge boiling over. I leaned on the door and closed my eyes. Listening to that noise, my heart was strangely calm. The real fight was still ahead. I knew they would not give up easily. Fine. I had enough patience. That night I did not sleep. I stared at the ceiling. My ears stayed alert. A little past 2. I heard soft movement outside. Like people whispering. I held my breath and listened. It was Mom and Dad. Mom's voice was very low. But I heard it clearly. Why don't we wait until he's asleep? And take his things? Without his ID and admission letter. Let's see how he leaves. Look, his light is off. He must be asleep. Let's do it tonight. The longer we wait, the worse it gets. The footsteps came closer. My heartbeat sped up. But I did not move. I pretended to sleep. The doorknob turned gently. But I had locked it. Mom cursed softly outside. This brat even locked the door. Forget it. Tomorrow then. He can't run anyway. The footsteps faded away. I opened my eyes in the dark. I sneered inside. Just as I expected. They never planned to let me leave. The moment I entered this house, I had stepped into their trap. But they did not know. I had prepared for this. This game was not over yet. The next morning, I tried the doorknob. The door was locked from outside. My heart sank. I went to the window. Security bars blocked it. Welded tight. No way out. My phone still had signal. But the Wi-Fi was cut. I used data to message my future roommates. I said I was okay for now, but it was bad. I told them to stay ready. Around 10 in the morning. The lock clicked. Mom came in with porridge. Her smile did not reach her eyes. Hungry? Eat something. Have you thought it through? I did not take it. She put the porridge on the table. Then she sighed. Her tone carried a threat. Xiaoming. Mom is advising you. A smart person knows when to bend. So what if you got into Qingbei? Who will pay your tuition and expenses? Do you think we'll give you 1 cent? When you can't afford school, you'll still come back obediently. I looked at her silently. Seeing me quiet, she thought I was wavering. Is your admission letter still with you? If you listen obediently and repeat 1 year, we'll fully support you next year, but if not. She stopped there. But the meaning was clear. I still said nothing. Only after she left did I see the door was locked again. From then on, I was under house arrest. On day 1, I stayed calm. By day 2, I got restless. Not because I was scared, but because time was running out. School opening was getting close. I had to get out. On the 3rd day, I took a risk. At 2 in the morning, everyone was asleep. I quietly got up. Using a nail clipper file, I picked the lock. The old spring lock was not hard to open. It took about 10 minutes. Before I heard a soft click. The door opened. I held my breath. Step by step I moved out. The living room was pitch dark. I felt along the wall toward the front door. My heart pounded up to my throat. The floor sometimes gave a faint creak. Each time, I stopped and listened. Only when it was quiet did I move again. Just as my hand was about to touch the front door handle, the light switched on. I froze. Dad stood by the hallway, holding a wooden stick. His face was dark. Clearly, he had been waiting for me. I did not explain. I turned and ran back. But it was too late. He rushed over in a few steps and struck my back with the stick. The pain knocked me to the floor. Then came a storm of blows and curses. I curled up tight. The stick landed again and again. Trying to run, still won't listen. I'll beat you to death, you ungrateful brat. Every hit hurt to the bone. Mom and Su Wanqing had also come out. They just stood there watching. No one tried to stop him. On Su Wanqing's face, there was even satisfaction. Dad finally got tired. He stopped, breathing hard. I'm telling you, Su Ming, don't dream of leaving this house. Just give in. I lay on the floor, my whole body shaking. Not from fear, but from rage. 18 years of holding back almost burst out of my chest. But I endured it. It was not time yet. My evidence was not enough. My backup plan was not ready. I was dragged back and thrown onto the bed. Then the door was locked again. I lay on the bed. My back burned with pain. But the pain made me clearer. Su Ming, stay calm. You already waited 18 years. A few more days won't matter. Let them be proud a little longer. Once you get enough evidence, none of them will escape. For the next 2 days, I behaved. I stopped trying to escape. I ate when told. I slept on time like I had accepted it. My parents thought the beating worked. Their guard loosened a little. But the door stayed locked. I still could not get out. I used those 2 days to study their routines. I memorized when each person slept. And when they woke, I kept every detail in mind. Waiting for the right time. On the 4th night, they finally moved. At 2:07 a.m., I heard the lock click. It was not a test. Someone was unlocking the door. I kept my eyes closed. My breathing stayed steady. I pretended to sleep, but every nerve was tight. The door opened. The footsteps were light, afraid to wake me. 2 people I knew from their breathing. One was Mom. The other was Dad. They moved to my desk and started searching. I kept pretending to sleep, but my heart raced. I knew what they wanted. My ID and admission letter. Those 2 things were my ticket out of this hell. And their leverage to trap me. They searched for several minutes. Then Mom lowered her voice. I can't find them. Where did he hide them? Keep looking. They must be here. He couldn't have taken them out. They searched my desk drawers. Then the shelf and my backpack. Even every pocket of my clothes. Someone stopped beside my bed, probably wondering if they should check my pillow. Then a third voice came from the door. It was Su Wanqing. Did you find them? Don't wake him up. Su Wanqing walked in impatiently. Her steps were louder than theirs. Clearly, she did not care if I woke up. I felt her stop beside my bed. She stared at me, studying me. Her gaze was cold like a snake. I could almost feel her breath near my face. Then she whispered right beside my ear. I know you're awake. I did not move. My breathing stayed steady. But inside, I cursed. This crazy woman was too sharp. Su Wanqing stopped testing if I was awake. Instead, she joined the search. She was much rougher than our parents. Things were thrown everywhere. Books were tossed onto the floor one by one. The whole drawer was yanked out. I had hidden my ID card inside the secret layer of my pillowcase. The admission letter was sewn into my suitcase lining. I thought they would never find them. But I underestimated Su Wanqing's madness. She lifted my pillow at once and felt the pillowcase. Inch by inch. She searched like she was hunting contraband. Not one corner was missed. When she touched the hidden layer, her hand stopped. Then she screamed with excitement. My heart jolted, but I still did not move. Then she pounced on my suitcase like a mad animal. She dumped everything on the floor. Then she ripped the lining apart. The tearing sound was painfully sharp. Her nails scraped through the inner lining. Finally, she touched something hard. I finally sat up coldly and turned on the bedside lamp. The room lit up. The light made them squint. I saw everything clearly. Dad and Mom stood by the desk. They were holding my ID card. Their faces looked guilty, but even more righteous. Su Wanqing stood by my suitcase, clutching an envelope. It held my admission letter. She looked like she had found treasure. Ugly and excited, I stared at them. My voice turned cold. I asked what they were doing in my room. In the middle of the night. What are you doing? The 3 exchanged looks. Then they stopped pretending. Dad slapped the ID card onto the table and spoke like he was fully justified. Su Ming will be direct. Wanqing already told us everything. As long as you're there, she can get a high score. This is fate between you 2. Just accept it. Mom stepped closer. Her eyes were full of calculation and threat. Xiaoming, listen to Mom. Repeating 1 year won't hurt you. You're so smart. You'll surely pass again next year. Then Wanqing can have a future too. Our family will have 2 top university students. Isn't that a win-win? I said I won't do it. I stood up and tried to take back my ID. But Dad shoved me away. He was stronger than I expected. I showed my trump card. I staggered back and hit the wall. The wounds on my back throbbed. Dad leaned in, his face dark. His threat cold and cruel. You won't do it. Do you think you still have a choice? Starting today, don't think of leaving. No ID. No admission letter. You can't go to Bayan. You'll stay home and repeat the year. After next year's exam, everything goes back to normal. You can still go to Qingbei. No one is delaying you. Not delaying me. Making me repeat one more year. Messing up my whole life plan. And turning me into trash's stepping stone. That was not delaying me. It was not time to tear things apart. I needed more evidence. I took a deep breath. And forced down my anger. It was not time to tear things apart. I needed more proof. So I asked. So you came to take my things? Mom laughed coldly. She stopped pretending. Take. Everything here is managed by your parents. You're still a child. Something as important as an ID should be kept by us. What's wrong? I look at Su Wanqing. She was pulling my admission letter out. Her face showed the thrill of revenge. She raised the letter like a trophy. Then, she did something I would never forget. She gripped my admission letter, eyes burning with crazy hatred. Then, right in front of me, she slowly tore it in half. That sharp ripping sound felt like something inside me snapped. She was not done. She kept tearing the pieces until they became scraps. They fell like snow. Her movements were slow, like she was enjoying it. With every tear, her lips curled. I looked at the scraps. For a moment, my mind went blank. That was 12 years of hard study. Countless nights of solving problems. The start of my new life. And she tore it apart. Su Wanqing looked at my face and laughed like crazy. Ha 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 ha. The letter is gone. How will you report now? Su Ming, in this life, you're only my stepping stone. I want you to rot in the mud with me. The more she spoke, the more excited she got. Her whole body trembled. With her messy hair, she looked like a ghost. Why are you better than me? Why does everyone praise you? Why can you go to Qingbei while I stay home and get laughed at? Those honors should have been mine. Tears had fallen from her eyes. But it was not sadness. It was resentment, jealousy, madness. But right then, her voice suddenly dropped. Like she was talking to herself. And also to me. Do you know how scared I was? Since we were kids, I knew my grades were fake. They were stolen from you. Before every exam, I was terrified. I was scared you'd stop taking exams. Scared that one day you'd fail. Scared everyone would know I was useless. She cried while saying she hated me. Hated that I was smarter. The ridiculous part was, she thought I did nothing to get those scores. I hate you so much. Without you, I'm nothing. So you can't leave. You have to stay. You have to be my stepping stone forever. Only then can I keep living. I looked at her. At the sister I had known for 18 years. For once, I found her pitiful. But pity was not a reason to forgive. Pity was not an excuse to ruin my life. Dad and Mom stood aside, watching Su Wanqing lose it. Not one stopped her. They even looked satisfied. Like she had done something right. Seeing that, I suddenly found it absurd and sad. So this was my family. So this was blood being thicker than water. I lowered my head and looked at the scraps. My shoulders started shaking. They thought I was crying. They thought I had broken. Mom sneered. Her tone sounded like charity from above. Enough, why are you crying? It's not even a big deal. Just take the exam again next year. Take it as a lesson. Be more obedient next time. I said nothing. I just crouched down and picked up the scraps with shaking hands. Su Wanqing watched my pathetic look. And her smile grew even wilder. Cry, go on, cry more. You deserve it, this is your fate. I raised my head and looked at her. She froze, because there were no tears in my eyes. Only cold hatred. And a smile that flashed for a second. That smile scared her. She stepped back without thinking. What are you smiling at? Nothing. I was just thinking. Your performance just now was impressive. If you can't survive later, you can become an actress. I did not continue. Instead, I acted like I had collapsed. My eyes went empty. It's over. Everything is over. Seeing me like that. Su Wanqing's caution faded. Winner's pride replaced it. Now you're scared. Where's that attitude now? Dad snorted coldly. He put my ID into his pocket. Enough, everyone go back to sleep. Starting today. This brat isn't going anywhere. The three of them left my room. like they had finished a mission. Before leaving, Mom locked the door from outside. That sound hit my heart like thunder. I was locked in. The room fell into darkness again. I sat by the bed, listening to their footsteps fade, until the house went silent. Everything had been recorded. Su Wanqing tearing up my admission letter. My parents watching coldly. Their whole conspiracy. All of it was in the video. I uploaded it to the cloud, backup after backup. Then backed it up again. I made sure nothing could go wrong. Then I edited a short version and posted it online. The caption, "This is the family I want to escape." After posting, I called the police. "I want to report a case. My family is illegally detaining me." The operator asked for my address and details. I answered one by one. They said officers would come and told me to wait. After the call, I hid the phone again. Then I lay back down. My heart was racing, but I had to stay calm outside. I did not know when police would arrive, or what might happen before then. But I knew if I survived tonight, everything would change. Time passed second by second. The sky outside slowly turned pale. My eyes stayed open, staring at the ceiling. My ears caught every tiny sound in the house. At 4:23, I heard footsteps. It was Su Wanqing. Her steps were light. Afraid to wake someone. But in the quiet night, I heard them clearly. I held my breath and stayed still. The lock clicked. She came in again. I closed my eyes and fake sleep. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. She stood beside my bed for a while. I could feel her eyes on me, full of doubt and suspicion. Then she walked around my room. Her footsteps moved near and far. I did not know what she wanted, but I had a bad feeling. She stopped in front of the bookshelf. My heart tightened. Then came the rummaging. She was digging through the clutter. My fingers clenched the blanket. My mind raced. If she found the phone, what should I do? Suddenly, the sound stopped. The air froze. I could almost hear my own heartbeat. Su Wanqing sounded confused. What is this? I knew she had found it. Damn it, I opened my eyes and sat up. Sure enough, she was holding the backup phone. The red recording dot was still glowing. Her face shifted from confusion to shock. Then rage. All in 1 second. "Su Ming, you're recording us." She screamed and lunged at me. Like a mad animal. I had no time to dodge. Her nails scratched my face. Burning with pain, I grabbed her wrist. We struggled together. Even though she was a girl, she was completely crazed. Her strength was terrifying. We knocked over the table. The lamp fell and shattered everywhere. The noise was too loud. Mom and Dad woke up fast. Dad rushed in and saw us. Without asking, he shoved me away. The back of my head hit the wall. "You dare hit your sister." I didn't hit her. She attacked me first. Su Wanqing had climbed up. She was still gripping the phone. She hid behind Dad. He secretly recorded us. He recorded everything. Dad's face changed at once. He snatched the phone and looked at the screen. His face grew darker. The veins on his forehead bulged. "Su Ming, well done. Really well done." He smashed the phone onto the floor. The screen cracked, but the body stayed intact, so he stomped on it several times, until it turned into scrap. I looked at the crushed phone. But I did not panic, because the video was already in the cloud. That phone was just an empty shell. But I did not show it. Instead, I looked completely hopeless. Like my last lifeline had been cut. Mom rushed over too. After seeing it, her face turned ashen. This ungrateful brat wanted to call the police. He wanted to send us all to jail. He must have wanted to post the video online, like how he exposed me before. Without another word, Dad slapped me again. My face swelled right away. I tasted blood at my mouth. "I'm telling you, Su Ming, this is not over. Stay here obediently. Don't think of going anywhere. If you dare call the police or post anything, I'll break your legs." He cursed as he left. Before leaving, he told Mom to watch me. Mom stood at the doorway, staring coldly. "Xiaoming, you really disappoint Mom. Everything we did was for this family. Why can't you understand? Enough. Think about your mistakes." Then she left too. The door was locked again. This time, she even blocked it outside. I heard a chair being dragged. I was the only one left in the room. Surrounded by mess, I leaned in the corner, touching my swollen face. They did not know police were on the way. They also did not know the video was already online. They thought destroying one phone solved everything. They had no idea the storm had just begun. Time kept passing. The sky grew brighter. I heard birds outside around 6. Dad's phone rang. What? Video, who posted it? Then Mom screamed sharply. And Su Wanqing cried. I knew the video had gone viral. Soon, someone knocked at the door. The knocking was loud and urgent. A voice shouted, "Open the door. Police. Someone reported this. What do we do? Don't panic. Open it. Hide that brat. Say he's not home. Right? Say he's not home. Hide him where? Open the door now. Or we'll take forced measures." Dad finally gave in. I heard the front door open. Then came a noisy conversation. I could not hear every word, but Dad was making excuses, explaining and trying to cover it up. A few minutes later, the thing blocking my door was moved. The door opened. 2 police officers stood there. The moment they saw me, they frowned. The younger officer walked over. "Are you the caller?" "Su Ming." He looked at the wounds on my face, then at the messy room. His face turned serious. "You're injured?" "Yes," I said, "my father." Dad's voice came from the living room, angry and guilty. "This is a family matter. What's wrong with disciplining my own son?" We received a call for help. It said someone was locked in and couldn't leave. We also received a video. "Watch it yourself." "You call this family matter?" The older officer held out his phone in front of Dad. The screen played my recorded video. Mom, Dad, and Su Wanqing searching my things. Su Wanqing tearing my admission letter. The words they said themselves. Everything was clear. Dad's face turned pale. Mom's legs went weak, almost collapsing. Su Wanqing hid in the corner. Her hair was messy, her eyes empty, like a crushed bug. "Su Ming, can you walk? We need your statement." I nodded and stood up. I stepped over the scraps and walked out. "You are suspected of illegal detention and assault. Behave yourself." Dad froze. His face looked like he had swallowed a fly. Angry, scared, and helpless. I did not look at him. I walked straight out. Behind me, Mom cried out, "Xiao Ming, you can't do this to us. We're your parents. How will we face people now? You stopped treating me like a person long ago. Now it's your turn to taste it." Mom froze, like she was seeing me for the first time. Su Wanqing suddenly rushed over. "Su Ming, you'll regret this. I won't let you off. Just wait, Su Wanqing. Remember this. Starting today, we are done." Then I turned around and never looked back. "Based on the video and your injuries, your father is suspected of assault and illegal detention. He will be handled by law. As for Su Wanqing, she destroyed someone else's property. Though the admission letter came from the school, it still belongs to you. She must also face legal responsibility." "What about my admission letter? Can it be reissued?" "You need to contact the school. We'll provide the necessary documents." "Thank you." When I left the station, the sun was harsh. I stood on the steps, squinting at the sky. It felt like waking from a very long nightmare. And now, I was finally awake. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered. A familiar voice came through. "Xiao Ming. Is that you? Are you okay?" We saw the video. There were voices in the background. My future roommates were probably there. "I'm fine. I already called the police. They brought me out." "Wow. That's great, bro. We were so worried. Where are you now? Need us to pick you up?" "No need." After hanging up, I stood there and thought about what to do next. Dad had taken my ID. Su Wanqing had torn my admission letter. I had no money and nowhere to go, but I did not panic. The hardest step was already done. The rest were just procedures. I got a temporary ID certificate. Then, with a little money left, I bought a train ticket to Bayan. Over 10 hours on a hard seat, I did not care. When I boarded, it was already evening. The sunset fell through the window. I leaned by the window and watched the scenery rush backward. A freedom I had never felt rose in my chest. So this was freedom. The train moved forward steadily. I closed my eyes and slept. It was the most peaceful sleep I had in a long time. When I woke up, the train had reached Bayan Station. I dragged my luggage off the platform. A strange city stood before me. Tall buildings, busy roads. So different from that great town. Even the air felt different. I found the cheapest inn and stayed there. Then I contacted the school and explained. The admissions teacher was shocked after hearing it. She said they would handle it quickly, and told me not to worry. 3 days later, I got a new admission letter. A brand new red cover. Exactly like the old one. But it felt completely different. I pressed it against my chest and stood at the school gate. I looked up at the sign, Bayan University. My eyes suddenly grew wet. For 12 years, I was thrown into the countryside. Ignored and neglected. Treated like I was invisible. I thought I would live forever in Su Wanqing's shadow. Forever as her stepping stone. But now, I was here. By my own strength. I stood at the top university's gate. Behind me, no one could drag me down. From this moment on, my life truly belonged to me. On the first day of school, I met my online roommates. Xiao Yuan was very tall. At one glance, he looked like an athlete. Zhou Sheng wore glasses. He got in through competitions. Then there was Sun Lei. Quiet, but very reliable. Damn. You're zooming from that video. You look more handsome in person. Handsome, my foot? His bruises haven't even healed. They hit you badly. Sun Lei said nothing. He just took ointment from his bag and handed it to me. For the swelling, I took it. And felt warmth in my chest. Thanks. That night, the four of us talked in the dorm for a long time. They asked what happened after that. The police are still handling it. I don't know the result yet. Your parents. You really suffered. Sun Lei still said little. But he poured me water. Later, the topic changed. We talked about our major, clubs, and plans for the next 4 years. I suddenly realized this was normal life. This was what 18 should feel like. That night, I lay on my dorm bed. Listening to my roommate snore. Looking at the moon outside. I thought of Grandpa. I thought of what he said. For poor kids, studying is the only way out. Grandpa, I did it. I called Grandpa. I told him I reached school and was fine. On the other end, he was too happy to speak. He only kept saying, good, good, good. You made it. You really made it. The school is big and beautiful. The cafeteria food is good too. Ha 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 ha. Ming Ming, then study hard. Don't worry about this, old man. I'm still strong. When I became capable, I would bring Grandpa to my side. I would give him a good life. That was what I owed him. He was the only family I wanted to repay. University life began step by step. Training, classes, clubs, busy but fulfilling. I studied hard. I joined competitions hard. I wanted to prove myself. And make up for all the time I lost. 1 month later, I received a notice from the police. Dad was convicted of detention and injury. 3 months of detention. Suspended for 6 months. Mom, as an accomplice, was detained for 15 days. As for Su Wanqing, for destroying my property, she was fined and ordered to pay. The punishment was not heavy, but for them, it was enough. Because that video ruined their reputation. When Mom went out, neighbors whispered. She could not raise her head. Su Wanqing was worse. Her name became an online joke. The 751 score and torn Qingbei letter were enough to shame her for life. I heard she later had mental issues and was sent to a psychologist. I did not know the details. They tried to contact me through calls and messages. It was all begging for forgiveness. Begging me to drop the case. Begging me to delete the video. I ignored everything. Later, they probably gave up. I never heard from them again. Life moved on. Freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, my grades stayed top 3 in my major. I earned scholarships, joined the party, and published 2 papers. Everyone said Su Ming had a bright future. I smiled humbly. But I knew. Every achievement was bought with my life. Every late night, every moment of exhaustion, was to move farther from that swamp. The summer of junior year, I went home to visit Grandpa. He had aged a lot. His back was more bent, his hair all white. But he was still well. Seeing me, he smiled like a child. I sat with him in the yard. Just like when I was little. He peeled peanuts for me. And I told him school stories. Do you still contact your parents? No. After all, they're still your parents. No matter how bad they gave you life, I know. But some things can't be forgiven just like that. They hurt me too deeply. Grandpa won't force you. It's enough that you know what you want. As long as you live well. Grandpa is satisfied. That night, I lay on the old earthen bed. Just like when I was young. But my heart was different. The insects outside still buzzed endlessly. But I felt very peaceful. This was my only home. Grandpa was my only family. As for the others, they had died in my heart long ago. In senior year, I secured graduate admission. I would stay at Bayan for my master's. At the same time, I got internship offers from top companies. Everything was getting better. On graduation day, I wore my gown and stood at the gate. It was just like the first time 4 years ago. Xiaoming, what's your plan now? Graduate school first, then work. Then I'll bring Grandpa over. That's great. Treat us next time. No problem. That day, we roommates drank a lot. We talked about the past and future. In the end, we all got drunk in the dorm. The next day, my head hurt badly. But my heart was full. Youth passed just like that. 4 years of university ended. A new journey was waiting. During graduate school, I got even busier. Classes, research, and internships left me no time to breathe. But I liked it. In my second master's winter, Grandpa passed away when someone from the village called me. I was doing an experiment. The moment I heard it, the test tube fell and shattered. I took leave and rushed home overnight. When I opened the old house door, a coffin was in the main room. Grandpa lay inside, wearing the navy jacket I bought him. There was a faint smile on his face. I knelt before the coffin and did not cry out. But my tears would not stop. Old Sue lived over 80 years. His grandson became successful. He left peacefully. He was blessed. But I did not want that blessing. I only wanted him to stay longer. I wanted to get a job, earn money, bring him to the city, give him a house and good food. I had not done anything yet. How could he leave? It snowed on the burial day. With my own hands I buried his ashes, on the slope behind the house. From there he could see the village. And the old locust tree. I stood before his grave for a long time, until snow covered my shoulders. Grandpa. Wait for me. I will make something of myself. I will make you proud. The wind scattered my words, but I knew he heard them. After Grandpa's funeral, I returned to school. I pressed my grief deep down and worked even harder. In my third master's year, I graduated with excellent results. I also got offers from top companies. In the end, I chose a tech giant. Starting salary, $500,000 a year for a countryside kid. It was a number I never dared to dream of. On my first day at work, I stood below the tall office building. I looked up at the blue sky and thought, Grandpa, I did it. After work began, I rented a one-bedroom apartment. Clean and neat, not big, but it was my little home. I put Grandpa's photo on my desk. Before leaving every day, I looked at him and said good morning. At night, I told him about my day. 3 years later, I bought a house in bed. A 30-year mortgage, over $10,000 a month. Heavy pressure, but I could handle it. It was not big. 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, but for me it was enough. On the day I moved in, I stood by the window and watched the busy street below. Suddenly, I remembered years ago. The boy locked in the storage room. That boy would never have imagined he would one day own a home here. That he would have true friends. And a brand new life. Fate gave me the worst hand. But I forced it into a winning game. That night, I drank a little alone. Grandpa, you were right. Studying really is the way out for poor kids. The moonlight outside was bright. As bright as that summer night long ago. When Grandpa sat under the locust tree and told me stories. It felt like yesterday. Life stayed peaceful. Work went smoothly. I sometimes met my old roommates. Life was simple but full. Until that day. The peace broke. I was reading at home. When my phone rang, it was an unknown number. I hesitated. But still answered. An old, unfamiliar woman spoke. Shuming, it's me. Who is this? I'm your grandmother. Xiaoming, can you come to the hospital? Your mom, she doesn't have much time. I know they wronged you. But she's still your mother. She's holding on to one breath. She wants to see you one last time. What happened? Late-stage liver cancer. When they found it, it had spread. The doctor said she only has a few days. I thought our paths would never cross again. Send me the address. The next day, I took leave and drove to the hospital. Following Grandma's address, I found the ward. The moment I opened the door, I saw Mom lying on the bed. She was terribly thin. If Grandma had not been there, I almost would not have known her. When Grandma saw me, she stood and held my hand. Her tears kept falling. Xiaoming. You came. Good that you came. She kept calling your name. I said nothing. I only stood beside the bed and looked down at the dying woman. Mom opened her eyes. Her cloudy gaze fell on me. Tears filled her eyes and slid down her sunken cheeks. She tried to raise her hand, but it only trembled. You came. You were willing to see me. I did not answer. I only stood there. My heart was strangely calm. Xiaoming, Mom is sorry. All these years, Mom wanted to find you. I wanted to say sorry. But Mom had no face to do it. She coughed a few times. Slowly. Don't rush. Mom made many mistakes in this life. The one I wronged most was you. Since you were little, I favored your sister. I left you in the countryside and ignored you. And what happened later? Mom was not human. Xiaoming, can you forgive Mom? I know I don't deserve it. But before I die, call me Mom one last time. You want me to call you Mom? I can't. All these years, there was never a mother in my heart. Only Grandpa. Mom's body shook hard. Like her last strength was taken away. She opened her mouth to speak. But only broken sobs came out. Grandma anxiously held my hand and said, Xiaoming. Just call her once. Let her live in peace. I shook my head and turned to leave. Behind me came Mom's hoarse cry. Xiaoming, Mom was wrong. Mom was really wrong. I stopped. Without looking back, I stood for a few seconds. Then I opened the door and walked out. I sat on a hospital bench for a long time. I smoked half a pack, watching people come and go. Some cried going in. Some smiled coming out. Life, aging, sickness, death. Just like that, my phone rang. It was Grandma. I hesitated but answered. Xiaoming, don't blame Grandma for calling you. Your mom really has little time. I know what they did was wrong. But she truly regrets it. These years, she kept talking about you. Your mom's illness. It came partly from all that pain inside. After what happened back then, she never slept peacefully. Your father lost his job and drank every day. Later, they fought every day and finally divorced. Your sister. What happened to Wanqing? Don't mention it, child. That incident was too big. Her mind was badly hit. Later, it got worse. Now she's in the care facility near Jinshan. Good or bad? Maybe this was what people call karma. Xiaoming, I know you have resentment. But your mom only has a few days. Can you really not see her? Grandma. I came. I already saw her. That's all I can do. You child. How can your heart be so hard? It's not that my heart is hard. It's that they broke it too badly. You should ask them how they treated me back then. Fine. Grandma won't force you. Just live well. After hanging up, I sat there a little longer. Then I got up and drove home. 3 days later, Grandma called again. Your mom is gone. She kept repeating your name. Until the end. I understand. When is the funeral? The day after tomorrow. Child, if you're busy, don't force yourself. I'll go. After hanging up, I stood by the window and watched the night view. I could not describe what I felt. A little heavy, but more relieved. I went on the funeral day. Not many people came. A few distant relatives. Grandma and Grandpa. And one person I did not expect. My father. He had aged a lot. His hair was gray. His back bent when he saw me. His eyes flickered. But he said nothing. He lowered his head and burned paper offerings. I ignored him too. I only followed the ceremony. Offered incense, bowed, then stood aside. Xiaoming, it's good that you came. Your mom's spirit can finally rest. After the funeral, the guests slowly left. Only a few relatives stayed behind. Dad was still kneeling, burning paper. Firelight reflected on his aged face. Looking at his back, he felt like a stranger. He probably felt my gaze. He turned and looked at me, eyes red. His lips moved. Xiaoming. I did not answer. I just looked at him. He stood and walked toward me. His steps were unsteady. When he stood before me, I smelled alcohol on him. I looked at him. Xiaoming. Dad is sorry. All these years, I wanted to find you and apologize. But I had no face. Your mom is gone. I probably don't have many years left either. Can you forgive Dad? Do you know? When I was little, I never understood one thing. Why other parents loved their children, while my parents treated me like a burden. Later, I finally understood. It wasn't because I was bad. It was because you were unworthy as parents. You ask if I can forgive you. My answer is the same as I gave her. I don't hate you anymore. But I will never forgive you. Not in this lifetime. And also, from now on, we have nothing to do with each other. You live yours, I live mine. Birth, aging, sickness, death, none of it concerns us. This is the last time I'll see you. At 3 in the morning. I got home. I showered. Then lay on the bed. Watching the sky slowly brighten. I felt lighter than ever. I could finally let go of the past. And start a new life. 1 year later, I was promoted. I became the youngest supervisor there. My salary doubled too. That same year, I met a girl. Her name was Lin Yutong. She was a designer next door. She was beautiful. When she smiled, her eyes curved like moons. We met through a joint project. After a few talks, we grew close. She knew my past. She knew the pain I hated revisiting. But she never looked at me differently. She only listened and said, "It wasn't your fault. You already did very well." We got together, we dated. Lived together, then I proposed. On the day I proposed, I brought her to my hometown. To Grandpa's grave. I knelt before the grave and introduced her. "Grandpa, this is my girlfriend. Her name is Lin Yutong. She's a good person, I want to marry her." Lin Yutong stood beside me. Then knelt and bowed 3 times to Grandpa. We got married. The wedding was small. Only close family and friends came. My old roommates all came. Xiao Yuan was my best man. At the wedding, he drank too much, hugged me, and said, "Su Ming, I'm really happy for you. You finally made it through." Yeah. Drink less, I finally made it through. Ha ha ha. 1 year later, Yutong got pregnant. 10 months later, our daughter was born. I named her Sun Yan. Nian, as in longing, to remember Grandpa. The moment I held my daughter, I suddenly cried. I thought, I will be a good father. I will never let you suffer what I suffered. I will give you the best love. The best protection. I will let you grow under the sunlight. Never knowing such darkness exists. Lin Yutong lay on the hospital bed. What are you thinking? I'm thinking, the luckiest thing in my life was surviving all those painful days. And then meeting you. Me too, at that moment. I suddenly felt all my suffering had been worth it. What fate owed me, I took back with my own hands. And I gained even more. Never give up on yourself. Because you never know, after surviving it all, what beautiful view is waiting for you.